Hello and welcome to our Simplify and Multiply training. And in this video, I'm going to be speaking to you about the 3 phases that we use here at Alinea for our acceleration OS and why most entrepreneurs stay stuck and how to break through to exponential growth inside your online business. So let's dive right into my computer. First, let's go over how most entrepreneurs chase growth. And this is a very common situation that I've seen for years. Most of them work harder, they try to learn more, and then they work even harder, and then eventually they succeed, or sometimes they don't. Well, I've been through this process in the past. I've done it several times in growing businesses that I've owned previously to Alinea. And I can just tell you that you're constantly chasing your tail. You're never getting to the point that you really ultimately want to be in. Because the reality is that you become overwhelmed by all the things that you have to do inside your business. And you personally become the bottleneck. You're holding the business back. Since you're the one that is doing everything or trying to guide people to do all the things, your business becomes just stuck. And it's because the business becomes dependent on just one person. And that's not how successful companies scale and grow. So ultimately, you want to make sure that you are not working hard to create income. You want to work to create leverage that creates freedom. And that's exactly where I was with my business, because I was chasing my tail. I was working 80-hour weeks, and I wasn't having the opportunity to spend time with my kids and raise my family. I was doing things all wrong. And unfortunately, it cost me lots and lots of years. And that's what I'm here to teach you guys today, how to avoid that and how to use some of the techniques and strategies we use here at Alinea to just work using leverage as opposed to working harder. So the hustle culture is a thing of the past. Trust me, I've been there and I've done it. It's not worth it. So let's look at the entrepreneur trap. Here you are in the center, right? This is you, right? There I am. This is where I was back in the day. I was in the middle and I was doing sales, I was doing marketing, social media, customer service, content, technology, learning new technology things. I was doing all the hiring in the HR, the operations, the accounting. I was doing it all. And unfortunately, this is where a lot of businesses start. They definitely are in this position to get their business up and running. It's very rare do you not do those things. If every decision requires you as a business owner, you don't actually own a business. You actually have a job. And that took me a while to understand that and to break that mold. So I'm going to share with you a process that we use that avoids this type of situation. So you don't have to be stuck having a job. You can actually own a business and you can have the freedom that you deserve for your family. All right. So growth actually happens in phases. And this is what I've actually learned inside building my current business. And the acceleration OS that we have developed moves you through 3 very specific phases in a specific order. And it took me lots of trial and error and training and reading to figure this out. But I'm here to tell you that it only takes 3 phases to get yourself into growth mode. First, phase 1 is to simplify. You need to simplify systems, and you need to leverage AI agents, automations within the software packages, and have very clear processes. You have to do this first. Unfortunately, a lot of times when people are building their business, they make things way too complicated, as did I for many years. But I'm here to share with you, if you just fix and simplify one thing at a time, your life will be so much easier, because then that leads to growth in the next phase. Phase 2 is to multiply processes once you have simplified them, right? And you do so by creating accountability, KPIs, key performance indexes, for your team members. And you also want to create teams that own outcomes, that do not just go and attack to-do lists, and especially to-do lists if you have to create them. You want them to have ownership to systems and processes. That's how you begin to multiply things inside your business. And phase 3 is to collaborate. You need to, once you've simplified and multiplied your systems, you actually now need to find collaborations through partnerships, communities, referrals, and alliances that multiply your reach so that it's not so difficult for you to have to do it all, right? Every successful entrepreneur eventually moves through all 3 of these phases. It's just a matter of how fast do you do it inside your business, and that's what this training is for, is to teach you this process. All right, so the simplify process, okay? This is phase 1 in our Acceleration OS program. Essentially, we want to create clarity, not complexity. And in practice, we do it, like I said earlier, we do it through building systems. We use AI agents now very, very much so in all levels of our business. And we use automations so that you don't have to manually push things through the process, right? And you want clear processes to do all these things. So I want you guys to start asking yourself these 3 questions. What actually moves your business? What moves it forward? Well, I know that there was one point in time where for us, what moved our business was new leads. We had the systems, we had the processes, and they weren't perfect, but they were working. But what really moves the business is having new leads. And a lot of times that's the first thing that people need to solve. So you need to, and it may be something else for your business. Everybody's business is so different if you're in e-com or if you're in coaching or what have you. Or maybe you have a service that you're providing to your local community. Everything has something that moves the business. So ask yourself, what is that business? And then I want you to ask yourself, what should stop? What are some things that are holding you back inside your business? What things can you just stop so that you can help move the needle? Because a lot of times there's processes that are generated and created. I know that's the case inside my business that had been created many years ago, and we were still doing them, but they were no longer moving the needle. So ask yourself, what are some things, and write them down, that you should stop. And number 3, what should become a system? What should become a system inside your business? So do you have a system for lead generation? Do you have a system for order fulfillment? Do you have a system for your team members and the tasks that they're owning? They're accepting ownership to. Sorry. I want you guys to answer these 3 questions honestly. And once you do, the noise will start to disappear, because then you actually are creating a roadmap for yourself that will allow you to fix things to move towards growth. So most businesses are truly drowning in complexity. I did for a very long time. Maybe your business has too many offers or too many tools, or maybe you have too many meetings. Are there some meetings that you can cut out? Or do you have too many projects going at once? I've been guilty of this. Do you have too many marketing projects for your business that you just need to kind of whittle down and focus on one thing at a time? Or maybe you have too many unfinished ideas. Maybe you start a project, get distracted, and you never finish that project. I've been in this situation too. Most business owners have been through much of this stuff, okay? But you need to ask yourself, which one of these is you? Complexity actually creates confusion, and clarity creates momentum. If you can get rid of the noise and simplify things, you'll actually make more progress faster. So keep that in mind. All right. Simplifiers ask a different question too. And here's a good example. Instead of asking yourself, remember the old Jeff, the Jeff that was doing everything in the beginning of the video? I would ask myself, how can I do more? Well, instead of doing that, become a simplifier and ask, how can I make this easier? How can I make these processes easier inside my business, whatever the processes may be? Or how can this become repeatable? How can this process become repeatable and possibly automated? And how can this become a system? Because I think when you ask yourself these three questions and you start to figure out the answers to them, you yourself become a much greater leader and are able to dial things in a little bit more so that you can actually make progress as opposed to spinning your wheels. Because when you're trying to do everything, you're actually accomplishing nothing. Trust me, I've been there and done that, and I don't want you guys to do the same thing. So what this looks like inside the Alinea program is the simplify phase is the following in action. Generally speaking, we create SOPs, okay? We create standard processes that people can follow. We create templates within that process so that you don't have to recreate things from scratch every single time. We create automations. We use software automations to actually, make the process just happen automatically 24/7 while you're sleeping, so you don't have to wake up in the morning and actually attack them one at a time. We create checklists of things that we need to take care of in a specific order to simplify. All right? We create playbooks that people can follow. And whenever we have a successful system in action and that's working for us, we turn around and take that and create a playbook so that future people that come in can follow that playbook. And I saved this one for last because it's the topic of the year, right? AI agents. How can you use AI agents inside your business that can handle the repetitive tasks that typically normal humans do? If you can develop a system using AI agents, you will then take lots of things off your plate. I started to dabble in this area earlier this year, and it's a game changer. So the things that I've learned that in the past 2 months alone, not to mention 4 or 6 months, has just changed my vision on where I see this business going. And so I have been building them every single day, AI agents that handle specific tasks for me and take them off of the human plate so that humans can do the things that they're good at. I can go into more of that later. But every one of these removes decisions, right? Once you build these things, you remove decisions and you become more efficient. All right, phase 2 of the acceleration OS is to multiply. And once you've simplified, you can multiply. And remember this, you cannot scale chaos. Remember the old Jeff, the Jeff that was doing everything? He was doing every single aspect of the business, and like the second slide of this, or third slide of this presentation. You can't scale that. I've tried. I had a business partner that was responsible for the sales team, and it was utter chaos, and we were not able to scale using those processes. So simplify first, all right? So inside the multiply phase, you want to create accountability. You want to create KPIs and teams that own outcomes. And let me go over some of that stuff for you here next. All right, multipliers build people, okay? They stop asking things like, how do I get everything done? Well, right, you make a to-do list, you've got all these things to do, and you're like, oh my God, you're stressed and you haven't even barely had your coffee for the day. How am I going to get all this stuff done and be with the family? You can't, okay? So you have to simplify it so that you can turn around and multiply. Instead of asking that question, I want you to start asking, who owns this outcome? Whatever that outcome may be, okay? And when you give people the opportunity to have ownership, you will be much more efficient and you can multiply things, right? The first question builds a to-do list. The second question builds a team. And when you have a team that's working for you and following the roadmap, the game plan, that's when you start to multiply. All right, so delegation is transferring ownership, okay? It isn't giving away work. That's the distinction that changes everything, okay? So when you assign tasks, you create dependency, right? So, for example, at Alinea, we have multiple teams, right? We have a web team, we have a social media team, we have a Google and email team, we have a video team, we have a customer service and communications team. All of these teams are assigned tasks and they create dependency. Okay, we did that in the past. People wait on you that's how we operated. We had all these people that we depended on, and they wait for you for the next instruction. Okay? That doesn't help you multiply and scale. Trust me, I've done it for years. What actually helps you out is when I started transferring ownership from my team members, I started creating leaders inside of my business. I started to create people who own the outcome and find the way to the solution, as opposed to waiting for me to tell them what to do, right? That's the difference. You need to stop being dependent upon people, and you need to create leaders. And when I did that, things really started to change here at Alinea. All right. So ownership in action. So a marketing manager, here's a couple examples for you. A marketing manager owns lead generation, right? It's their responsibility. That's in their job description and what they do. And they accept defeat, and they're happy to be responsible for success. Client success owns retention, or keeping clients for a long period of time. That they own that, as opposed to pointing fingers on why people have decided to move on. And operations owns the delivery of the product or service that you provide. All right? And then you, as a business owner, own vision. You're the visionary. There's a reason why I'm the leader and the visionary here. I've been involved in creative for 3 decades. I've got a lot of experience, and I've got a lot of understanding where things were and where they're going. And I've actually always been that way. And I remember the day when I was doing print design, and I told the guy that I worked for, the future is this online web stuff. He just looked at me like I was crazy. But the reality is that I had a talent. I was a visionary. So when you're a visionary, then you can turn around and share your vision to your team, the team of owners for specific areas. All right? So ownership is about, taking responsibility for your specific area. Okay. You can't manage what you don't measure. Multipliers run on measurement. This is very important for our business here. The things that we do for people. We have systems in place where it collects data and we measure things. Okay? Not only for our clients, but ourselves internally. So we have weekly KPIs that each team member needs to meet. They're the vital numbers that are reviewed every single week, where they're at, what they're responsible for, what has been achieved, where they're where they're struggling, and where they might need support to have success. So weekly KPIs are a must. Dashboards. The dashboards are the health of the business, visible at a glance to a group of individuals. Now, not all businesses want to share certain pieces of information, but when you have a dashboard that you can share information to a team, like I do with my team, everybody understands where you're at. There's no question. All right. So, and there's some levers and buttons that you need to push and pull to make modifications to produce, growth And you can see that easily in dashboards. Scorecards. Every seat has a number it's responsible for. So, for example, quality video for our video producer, or conversions for our ad campaign manager, or a website that is easy to use for our web developer. You keep track of these things in scorecards so people understand exactly where they're at any given time, so that they know what they have to work on and where their strong points and weak points are. And accountability. Owners answer for outcomes, not activity. Okay? So all people must be accountable for their actions. Not only myself as a business owner, but my team members as well, and clients too. We've had some clients in the past that we've worked with, we've done great work for, but they just did not participate and do their share. And when they decide to move on, or they decide the system isn't working, or what have you, I can tell you for a fact that it's not because we haven't done our part, it's because they haven't done their part. And it happens, I get it, it happens sometimes. But accountability, big part of being a multiplier. All right, phase 3 of the acceleration OS is to collaborate. Okay, your growth no longer comes from just your employees, it comes from relationships. So you've simplified, right? You've multiplied, and now it's time to collaborate. So in practice, what this looks like is growth through partnerships, people that you partner with. Maybe it's a customer that now becomes a client on a monthly basis because they have a solid understanding of what it is that you do, and they see the success, so you want to partner. Maybe it's through communities, like our business growth community. All right. Maybe it's through referrals. A customer sees that you've done great work or has faith in you, and they refer you to a new prospect, which could become a partner, a customer. Workshops, like we have here at Alinea inside our community. We have monthly workshops that I supply a training to our audience that allows them to implement the things that are working for us. Okay. Or strategic alliances. Maybe your business can align with somebody else who can complement yourself. Now, again, every business is different, but all of these are collaborations. So, collaborations look like I said, partnerships, strategic alliances, joint ventures, referrals and affiliates, communities, masterminds, workshops, and networks. So your growth beyond what one company can accomplish alone is what you need to focus on. But I highly recommend that you don't even consider this part until you've gone through and you've simplified and you've multiplied. Because once you've done that, then you have a system that is working. You just need to plug somebody else in. And I've done it myself, and I've seen other businesses out there do it. Once they start collaborating, true growth starts to occur. So the question evolves. This is how the question evolves. The simplifier asks, how can I simplify? Okay. The multiplier asks, who can own this? Who in my teams can own this? And the collaborator asks, who can we build this with? Okay. You need to ask yourself that. If you're not doing these 3 things inside your business, I don't care if you've been around for 10 years or if you're brand new and just starting a business, these are things that are going to move you forward. So, how exponential growth actually happens. In the linear view, 100 individual efforts. Do you remember, again, back to slide 3 when Jeff was doing everything? I was in the center there and I was telling you all those different things that I was doing in my old business. 100 individual efforts equals 100 results, good or bad. Each one earned the hard way, whether you have a successful accomplishment or a defeat. Okay, that's the linear way of growth. Exponential growth is when you have a relationship with one person that could be 100 different opportunities. One right partnership can open the doors, efforts alone. Okay? Now, I want you to think about that for a second. If you had multiple relationships that you could partner with to have 100 opportunities, would you prefer that in growing your business? Or would you prefer to be trying 100 different things and hopefully something works? I don't know about you guys, but when I learned about exponential growth, this was the game changer for me. I was convinced this is how I'm changing my business, because what I was doing was linear in the past and it was no longer working for me because I was working too much. I wasn't getting the results I wanted and I wasn't spending time with my family. Okay? All right. And so kind of wrapping up this video, where AI fits in. AI, I know, is a hot topic right now, right? And a lot of people don't own it. And quite honestly, there's a lot of people out there that just are not using it. And if they are, they're not doing it the right way. AI is technology. It isn't replacing people. It removes low value work. So you remember how we talked briefly about, repetitive tasks, things that can be done by a computer automatically. Okay, that's what AI is here for. Okay, so it's here to create systems and processes that replace the repetitive tasks, so humans can focus on the things that they're good at. And what are humans good at? The humans are good at things like strategy, right? Using their brain to think about how we're going to attack a problem. Creativity, okay? Creativity is not only, the creating artwork and videos and creative copywriting, but how is one creatively going to solve a problem? Because a human can do that much better than a computer can. It can also, humans are also great at relationships where computers are not, where technology is not. So by removing the low value work, the things that are repetitive, you can spend more time on relationships, remember? To collaborate. Humans are much better at leadership as well, okay? And they're great at decision making. So I don't care what type of AI platform or system that you're using, it for sure is valuable inside your business, but you need to kind of reorganize your systems and your workflow to integrate that into your system, into your business, so that you can become more efficient and scale faster. When I understood not just normal AI tools like ChatGPT, which is just simply a chat, but the game changer for me is when I understood AI agents and automations. That was a game changer. When I figured that out and I saw the things that it could do for me, I was able to stop hiring unnecessary positions inside my business and save myself tens of thousands to $100,000 a year, all because I use tools to make myself more efficient. That's exactly where entrepreneurs create the most value, is when they use AI in conjunction with human teams as well. Okay, so the Acceleration OS isn't about doing more. Remember old Jeff? It's an operating system that naturally moves you through the following phases: simplify, multiply, collaborate, and scale. Okay? You simplify the work, you multiply through people, and you collaborate through relationships. And when you do this, that's when you're going to start to see the growth inside your business, and you're going to see the scaling occur. Okay? So I want you guys to ask yourself real quick, be honest. This tells you exactly where to focus. Which phase describes you today? Which one of those three phases back here? Simplify, multiply, collaborate, or scale, or collaborate in order to scale. And am I creating unnecessary complexity inside my business? And am I still the bottleneck in the business? And am I building leaders inside my business? And am I leveraging strategic relationships? I want you guys to write those things down on a piece of paper now and go to a quiet space and reflect and truthfully answer those things on paper so that you can come back to it later, okay? I promise if you do that, you're going to come up with some enlightening things for sure. Okay, your action steps here at the end of this video is to simplify one thing. Pick one thing inside your business. I don't care if it's a marketing task. I don't care if it's delivery of packaging a product that was sold through an e-commerce store. Maybe it's a process, what have you. It's a sales call technique. It doesn't matter to me. Pick one thing, and I want you to simplify it. Then task number 2 is I want you to delegate one responsibility. I want you to transfer ownership of one recurring outcome to an individual in your organization. And step 3, I want you to start one relationship. Begin one new strategic relationship today. Okay? I want you to do that this month. And then when you're done, I want you to repeat it next month. And I want you to do it over and over and over again until you truthfully get things dialed in inside your business. All right, the shift. Your business grows when you stop asking, how can I work harder? And start asking, how can I create more leverage? Can I create it by simplifying, multiplying, or collaborating? And that's how businesses become scalable, okay? Now, I want to share with you guys, I'd be crazy if I didn't share with you the Alinea growth community, okay? I want to share with you how you can stop guessing and you can start growing. You can join our free community where online business owners install proven systems and get expert accountability and finally build a system that pays daily, okay? You can join for free at community.alineabusiness.com, or you can just go to alineabusiness.com and click on the community link and it'll take you there. It doesn't cost anything, no credit card, no risk. You can cancel anytime, but I've got a bunch of free bonuses and value there for you guys that is worth just signing up and checking it out. I sharing new things every single day. And also, this is just so you're aware, it's July of 2026. You're going to become part of the initial cohort, so you can become a founding member right now for free, because it's not going to be free forever. I can guarantee you that right now. But go over to the community, sign up today. I'll see you guys on the inside in the next video as well. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a great day.